Hi. Yes, we're recording. Hi,
Oh,
it's Gray.
hi guys, it's Larea.
We are the Indigos, and we got a really great little um, text from, well, actually, an Instagram DM from one of our subscribers, Gloria.
What's up,
And
Gloria?
what's up, Gloria? Hi from Australia.
Larea in LA.
And she thought it was something good if we could talk about just sacrifice that she makes for others at the expense of herself. And she's just kind of said if we can talk about when to show up and provide the sacrifice in order to be there for other people, when to know when to do that. So we thought that this is good because, quite often as very compassionate people, we tend to always try to see the good in people and want to be there for everybody. But the reality is that we can't, and it's not possible, it's not feasible, it's not good for us to do that for ourselves and for others as well, especially when it's not being respected and acknowledged in the way that it should. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Right.
All right, you want me to go first, Grace? Or you talking first?
Yeah, you can talk. I'll just do the intro and then I'll talk.
Okay, all right. Well, basically, I don't think it's a black or white subject because in any type of situation, it's very specific to the person. For one, I think it's very important to have a balance within self-love and then also being self-sacrificing for people you love. A lot of times I feel like people will be self-sacrificing to people that just drain them and they don't necessarily respect or acknowledge what someone's doing when it comes to like love and being self-sacrificing. um, all of us should be that way. When you love someone, you're supposed to be there, support them, help them when things are tough, but you have to have a balance. And sometimes it can be very unhealthy if you're constantly being a yes person in times that you should be saying no, and then you end up saying no at the wrong time when someone might have really needed you. So I think it's an individual lesson that we all have to go through where we figure out what our groove is and what works for us. Personally, when I deal with people, anyone that I love, I'm the first one to say I do not say no to people I love. If you're in my circle, if you are one of the closest people to me, you will never get a no. It's always let me figure it out. How can I make this better? But I also have a balance in the sense of the people that are in my life aren't draining and negative people. So that makes a big difference. A long time ago, I had people in my life that were very draining. So it was hard to be the type of person I am in that situation because I don't say no. And I'm very aware of that, but I haven't allowed my love to be used against me once I've learned the lessons that I learned. And the lessons were to reevaluate the people in my life, the people in my closest circle. I think that we're meant to love and to sacrifice and be selfless. But I think there's also lessons within that where you're not that way with every single person because not everyone can receive that and not everyone's going to acknowledge what you're doing. And not to say that you need someone to acknowledge every time you're doing something great or pat you on the back, but having people that are very aware of the type of person you're being when you can be your full self. And that's when you don't have guards and you're present and you can be as loving as we're intended to be. I don't think that works for everyone in every walk of life because sometimes people have to learn lessons before they can even get to that stage where they can be open because it can be dangerous to be open to every single person because you can drain yourself and you don't want to get in that type of situation. But when you do, sometimes it's learning lessons. Sometimes you have to go through that. I went through it. There were so many times where I had to learn when to say yes or no. And my no's aren't necessarily like if I say no, it's coming from a place of love. It's not a place where I can't do something for someone because I've drained myself. It's usually something that needs to be said. Um, but I understand that because I support, love, give to everyone. But I really reevaluated my circle so that the people that I'm doing that with, they acknowledge and they're present to know that me being this way is something special, to be able to be that open and vulnerable with the people that are around. So I learned how to reevaluate who's close to me. People that aren't in my inner circle, oh, they'll get to know every single day of the week. And I've gotten to that space so that I wouldn't be drained by people, and I didn't want my love to be used against me. So that's kind of like how I deal with that type of situation, where I have, there's levels to what someone gets. And I think that I'm very good at making a decision on who gets what and where they're at. So that's how I deal with it. I don't know, Grace, do you have the same type of situation, or do you deal with it?
No, well, I'm a little bit different. I think it comes also from like who you are as a person, and you know, intricately what your makeup is, and you know, I'm like, you know, in my family, I'm the eldest of 4 children. I always had to do everything for all my siblings. So I think that a lot of the time, and not just that, but also, you know, I didn't really learn the value of no from a young age. I always kind of associated no, you know, knowing my boundaries, saying no to things that, you know, at my expense. I think I always associated mentally no with a negative, I always had a negative connotation to it, to the word. And so I think for me, I've had to learn that over a period of time. And it hasn't been until really like in the last few years that I've become very, very good at knowing my boundaries and standing strong by them, because, you know, I found that I was sacrificing myself in every way, in every form, to not just people please, but just to do things for others. And so it was really hard for me to learn that the no is really important. That's actually really powerful and empowering for yourself to know your boundaries and know where to draw the lines and the sacrifices that you make for others. And you know, I think, you know, I like look at Ray, and you know, since Ray and I have connected, you know, that's something that I look at and I just think she's really good at, is like just, you know, there's this good term like don't give fucks where fucks are not worthy of giving fucks. And so I think that, you know, she's good at that. And I've had
Thanks. Thanks. Not giving a fuck. That's fantastic.
Giving a fuck. You're good at not giving a fuck about things that don't require you to give fucks, you know. And I had to learn that better, you know. And it was a journey. And what it was my subconscious of my self-worth and not quite knowing all of that. And so I had to go through the motions, you know, and really just kind of going, you know, what is my self-worth, you know, and really think about those things, because then that makes you accountable for what then you get involved with, or how you treat yourself and others, and then a reflection onto others as well. So I realized that was a big thing that I really needed to acknowledge and stand by, because consciously I was aware of it, but I was always kind of going, well, why does this keep happening? Well, it was because my subconscious wasn't really receiving the information or knowing the acknowledgement of myself and my worth as well. So I was sacrificing myself in situations where I shouldn't have been. But I just didn't know that. I didn't make the correlation between my subconscious and my conscious mind of where to sacrifice and how and to whom as well. And, you know, and sometimes, you know, yes, your family is there and stuff, but sometimes they're the most damaging at times as well. You know, they can be quite damaging, and it's really hard to find, like, know where to sacrifice with them and where you can't actually do it. Yeah.
Sorry. Before I forget it, because you know, ADHD.
Yeah.
I want to refer to is when I say in family, I'm not referring to necessarily genetics, people that have like that blood tie with. I'm saying people that, for me, it's my soul family. So when I say that, it's the core people that are me, and a lot of the closest people to me, I'm not genetically related to. So when I'm referring to say that, because when I was saying that I don't say no when it comes to my family, it's my spiritual family that I'm having this experience and walking with, I don't say no to them. But it's not.
Yeah.
There's plenty
And
of
it's
family
the people that you
say,
called in. It's the
hell
people
no
you
to.
called into your family.
Oh no. So I want to make that very clear. You're speaking the family, because yes, a friend of mine had said that the other day, and I swear to God, they tugged on my heartstring, because she had said to me, we were talking about family, and she just said, well, most of the pain, most of the hurt comes from home. And when she said that, I almost passed out, because I was like, it's so true, because you
Yeah.
put family in the position to be there, because like coming into this world with them, you're already in a vulnerable state. Because remember, we learn to be guarded. We learn that's not how we come into this world. So the first people that see you, that deal with you in your upbringing, they see you in your open space, your vulnerable space. So it's hard to kind of like backtrack when they've already seen you for who you are, you know? And so I just want to make that as far as the family
you're right.
goes.
So when Ray's talking about her family, she's talking about her spiritual family, like those people that she's called in, that she allows herself to do things and sacrifice for. Yeah. Whereas, like, you know,
I don't give family this like privilege to be above other people. I think that it's very individual. I don't look at people for how I'm related to them. Scientifically, I look at them as people in their journey, spirits that have come down at the same time, and where I am with them. It's like I don't care if you're my mother, my brother, my father, my grandparents. It doesn't matter to me. Are you a good person? Because that matters to me. Oh, you're my mother, so I'm going to allow you to be this person or excuse this. I don't do that. I hold people accountable. So when I'm saying that, I'm speaking on people that I consider my family, and that's the people that are closest to me.
I think that what you just said there, holding people accountable, is really important, to be able to self-preserve yourself and to know as well that you need to call people as well on things when you have sacrificed things for them. And I think that also is a clear indication that you are, you know, really transcending into the space that you need to by drawing those boundaries, calling people up on their bullshit, just letting them know, to help them and to also help you define where you are going to sacrifice yourself and how and who for.
And you'll lose a lot of people that you love. I will make that very clear. Like when you hold people accountable, the person that you are holding accountable for certain things, they have to be ready to receive that. Not everyone's ready. And I've had people leave my life and come back and say, I wasn't ready to face the mirror. I wasn't ready to face the mirror that you put in front of me. So you have to understand that too. If you are holding people accountable and you're in this space where you're like, I want to grow, I want to be the best version of myself, you have to be open to holding yourself accountable as well for the decisions you make. You know, it's a two-way. So when you're in a place where you're holding people accountable, you have to be able to dish, like,
Sorry.
No, but so I just want to make sure that that's clear as well when it comes to holding people accountable. It's only because I'm 100% open to receive like anything someone has to say, whether it's like you need to change this, you need to work on this. I'm not offensive in it because I know what truth sounds like. So when you're in a space where you understand that, then you can welcome it and know that it's only to help you elevate and not put you in a space where you're close to receive it because you don't want to deal with it. So I hold people accountable because I'm hard enough to be open enough to say, you know what, I'm working on being the best version of myself. So to do that, I have to take responsibility and also what it is.
And I think we can talk about, I think we should talk about on the fact that, you know, how to know who to sacrifice for, because I think that, you know, yes, we're talking about stripping it back and, you know, holding people accountable and all that, but also like, you know when you're serving somebody, when it's right and when it's wrong. You feel it. You already feel it. So you already feel that that person's not receiving it, you know, or they're not acknowledging it in the way that, you know, that sacrifice has, you know, been so much for you to do that that person's not even acknowledging it. Well, you already know. You already know. So to draw those boundaries. Sorry, my mom keeps calling.
Mama. No, I agree with you. And I think that specifically, to get to a space where you recognize how someone's receiving whatever you're dealing with, I think that you have to really know yourself. And I say that in the sense of like, when I decide on like who I hold accountable, who I'm close to, who comes into my circle, I'm able to make the proper judgment because I know what I offer as a person in someone's life.
Yeah.
If I know,
that's where you know who to sacrifice for, is by,
you know, like what, because some people's intentions aren't good. So sometimes just because you're giving everything you own to someone, whatever it is, your intentions have to be good. Because some people will do that. They'll try and buy love. They'll try and buy, you know, relationships, attention, all these things. Those intentions aren't good. So you can't cry wolf when you're drained because your intentions aren't space. So when I say that, it comes from a space where I look at, okay, I don't say no to people I love. And I've been like that my whole life, and I'm comfortable with being that person. I don't need to draw a line if I love you, because I'm not going to have someone close to me that's going to take and drain me for no reason. It's a
you've already set the precedent.
Absolutely. So you have to know what you're offering. So looking at, as a person, what do you offer? What do you bring into the dynamic of whoever you're dealing with in the sense of yourself? I'm not saying material. I'm talking about, is it vulnerability? Is it honesty? Is it being trustworthy? Loyalty? Whatever you bring. Yes, whatever you bring to set a bar for what you want. Like, to me, a lot of people want all these things, have this list, but they don't possess those qualities. I was saying that with a friend of mine. A friend of mine has this huge list of the type of people she likes to date, and she like has like 2 things on the list. I'm like, oh man, yeah. But you know, that's real life. Real life, where it's like, check yourself and say, now, am I doing these things? Am I being the best person? Am I being the most loyal? If you know you're mad shady, but you want loyal friends, how does that work? You have to make sure, like, wherever your bar is set, that you're meeting these people halfway, so it becomes a mutual exchange. If it's mutual, no one will be drained, because you're helping. It's a very fluid.
And the sacrifice will be on both ends. Both ends. Yeah. I think that's a really important thing. I want to share something that happened to me this week. So this guy that I've been seeing for like 2 years, and sacrifice.
Sorry, this is new news to me.
Yeah, I know. I haven't had a chance to tell you about this, but I'll tell the whole world.
News to me. Thank you. I've got to watch the TV to find out what's going on with my friend. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No. Okay. This is new news. I'm listening. We won't say any names.
So basically, I you know, for 2 years I'd been dating him, and you know, he's in a different country and everything, but I sacrificed a lot in order to hold the heart space for him, and you know, I recently had let it all go, and he called me and came back into my world the other day, and was just like not at all acknowledging all the things that went wrong with us, and you know, he didn't do that, and while it was really nice for me to see his face again, I was like, afterwards I felt, you know, really a real sadness about it. And I thought, you know, this comes back to what we're talking about. I sacrificed so much for him, for us, for the potential of us, and he never came to the table like I needed him to. So, and he wasn't being accountable. So I ended up sending him a text saying to hold him accountable for all the things that had happened. And I said, it's not okay that you are wanting to be in my life without even acknowledging any of this stuff. And I'm not willing to, because I'm ready for true love, I'm not willing to sacrifice myself anymore for something that is, you know, not going anywhere. So, you know, which is always really hard when it comes to those that have got you, like your heart and everything. It's really hard to know how to sacrifice. Yeah, and
I saying for sure, like that resonates with me because I've been in that space before, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the hardest one. The hardest one is always the one that has got, you know, inside your heart, you know, and that's the really hard one, to know how to call them up on their bullshit, make them accountable, and know the boundaries of where to draw yourself and the sacrifices that you make, and just say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I told him I made a declaration, and I don't want that anymore. I don't want to love a man that, you know, that mistreats me. So I had to say that very strong statement, and the declaration was very important for me. So declarations are very, very powerful in terms of declaring it, but also standing by that declaration. So you're letting the subconscious world, the universe know that you're not going to stand for that anymore. So I think that that's also something.
That resonates with me so much, and I can say, like, I have been in that experience, in that same situation before, where I was in a relationship where the person wasn't holding themselves accountable for the things that they were doing. And that is also a statement towards self-love. And sometimes the universe brings these people that we know are in our heart that we will love forever to be lessons, because when they're ready, they're going to come back. They always do. I'm just letting you know now, putting that out there. People, you have that type of connection with, that type of bond, because it comes from somewhere else, and you know that, Grace. But sometimes we have to be the lesson. Only the people that require the most change are the ones that can actually do that, and that comes from a place of love. So just knowing that your place in his heart in that situation, he's not ready to face himself, and that's what I was just talking about. When people aren't ready to face whatever it is, they're going to be where they are. And I've been in that situation where you love someone to the point that you put your heart on reserve for other people because you're rooting for that person to do the right thing. But guess what? Our dynamic as far as love isn't the bigger picture of someone just learning their lessons. So sometimes that happens. You just have to move forward and hope that maybe something lines up later on in life. And if it doesn't, you have to be okay with knowing that there's something else for you. And then be able to say, you know what, God, you're going to present something to me that's going to make me appreciate that it never worked out. Yeah, and that's the most important.
And that's the thing. Like, that's what I said to him. Unless you are willing to acknowledge all the things and wanting to talk about that, if you're just ringing me to say, hey, what's up? Like, no, that's not going to work for me. If you're wanting to talk about all the wrongs and, I guess go through the atonement that you need to,
absolutely.
Just pull in everything that you had done and acknowledge it and just go, let's atone. Like, I want to make an atonement of all of this stuff. Then I'd be open to conversation. But if you're not, I said, don't contact me because I've sacrificed way too much. Yeah. Right. Like, yeah.
I'm proud of you, Grace, because I know how hard that is when you love people, but you have to love yourself more. If someone puts you in a space where they're not putting you first, you need to choose you. You have to. So, like, I'm so happy that you're in that space, because I know how hard that is to get into that space. And I know how hard it's been because, you and I have these talks and I know what's going on. So, like, to know that, I'm so proud of you. Like, that's not easy. And any person, gets to that space, it is so hard because, your heart does involuntary things. So you're just like, why are you being so whatever. But when you get to a space where you can do that, I feel that so deeply, Grace. And I'm so proud of you. And again, if he comes back around and the stars align, this is fantastic. I'll welcome him. I won't slice him up.
Yeah.
But
I hope everybody heard that. Lorea said, I won't slice him up. She's like,
I'm coming for blood. If you hurt my friends, it's a wrap. But if he doesn't come around and it's someone else, I just pray for you that it's someone that literally makes you feel like, thank God that didn't work out because this is so much better for me. I just want you to be with reflection.
So that, and it comes back to that whole knowing your sacrifices, where to make them. And I didn't know that until I really understood it with this particular person, which is always the hardest one, the one that is in your heart and you share a special bond with. That's always the hard one. And I think a lot of people experience this, what we're talking about. But, knowing your sacrifices, where to make them and where not to make them, requires you to be really within your space, your own self, and really listening to yourself and honoring, the teachings around you. Look at the things, the reception of how, your sacrifice impacts other people and everything. And if the person's not acknowledging it, then, let them kind of go. And it's not worth to make a sacrifice.
Let them free. That's it. We're not going to tell you guys to death, but just let them free.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've concluded today. We can talk about this stuff forever and ever and ever. But next time we'll talk about some other things. But I think I think a good way that we're going to do this is we're going to put some posts up into our Instagram account and just ask for you guys to ask a question for us to talk about, like, you know, a discussion topic. And then we can respond like we did today for Gloria. So hopefully, Gloria, this was helpful for you.
That was a really good topic. So you're awesome. I hope it
All
helps.
right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.